Let's talk about why I chose the Canon EOS R as the newest addition to my camera gear in 2021. What's up everybody, it's me, Joe, back making some new content for my YouTube channel for the new year. And today I want to talk about why we chose the Canon EOS R to be part of our kit for our small photo video business in 2021. Let's start with what's been in my bag for the past couple of years, because I think that'll give some context as to why we picked the EOS R. So I keep saying we, and I should explain that a little bit. We is actually my wife and I. We started a photo video business in late 2020. We focus on family and lifestyle photography, as well as we hope to expand into wedding photography this year. So without further ado, let's jump into my camera bag, see what I've been using, and get to why we picked the EOS R. So first up is the Canon 6D Mark II. This is our other body. We've had this for a couple of years now, and it is a fantastic camera. When I first bought it, I was looking for something that could do both photo and video and be full frame and be within my price range. And what really impressed me about this one was the autofocus in video mode, which at the time was one of the better cameras for that. The only reason that we decided to add to the kit was my other body as a backup was from 2012, so we wanted to add something that was a little bit newer and be able to have two pro bodies to take on gigs. And we've been shooting Canon. I've been shooting Canon for almost a decade. I know where all the controls are. It's kind of second nature at this point. This was just the most comfortable, best option a couple years ago, and still a very big part of our kit today. So moving on to lenses, the first one I want to talk about is the one I'm actually filming this with right now. It's the Canon EF 24mm 1.4L. This is a great lens. I've had it for about a year, and it's one of those lenses that I really wanted to add to my kit for a long time. It's nice and wide, gives you a great field of view, allows you to do really nice establishing shots or really nice talking head video shots like this one, and it gives you that super shallow depth of field, going all the way down to 1.4 if you need it. This is great in small spaces and low light. That's great for video. It's just a great lens to have in the kit. So next up, just in order of focal length here, is my 50mm 1.8 STM. This is one of our favorite lenses. We use it all the time for portraits and for B-roll in video. It's just a really great what you see is what you get kind of lens. Because of that 50mm field of view, there's no wide angle distortion. Really great for portraiture, really great for video. Super light, which my wife really likes. It's not a big heavy prime like some of my others. I actually had the version 2, which is an all plastic lens, but I found that to be way too loud for video work. So I cross-graded at the time over into this guy, and for $125, I don't think you'll find a better value in the Canon lens line. Rounding out our selection of primes in our kit is the Canon 85mm 1.8. This is a great lens for what it is. It's one of my most recent pickups. I bought this guy used, and this will probably be the first one to hit the chopping block whenever it's time to upgrade. What I really like is the focal length and the aperture. Again, it's another fast prime, which is the wide aperture, allowing a lot of light in. Really great for low light conditions. What I don't particularly like about this lens is it focus hunts and misses every now and then, and on top of that, it's really loud. So not a great one for autofocus in video mode unless you're using something like an external mic. But the focal length is great. It's smaller than a 70-200 zoom, and it would fill that kind of place in your kit really well. Although this is probably one that I would consider upgrading sooner rather than later to something like the RF 85 f2. The final lens in my collection is the Canon 16-35 f4 IS zoom. This is one of my favorite lenses. I bought it alongside my 6D Mark II back a couple of years ago, and I wanted to get into video a little bit heavier. This was one of the first quality lenses I had ever purchased, and man, it just hardly ever leaves my camera. If you've seen any of the other videos on this channel, you've 100% seen this lens. I use it for vlogging, for B-roll, just to be able to do a wide establishing shot. It's made its way into my work bag a couple of times to do things at work. Its only downfall is that it's an f4, so you don't get quite as wide of an aperture to let in more light. Like I said before, I'm usually doing video or working without a flash using available light, so I try to buy lenses that will get me as much light as possible, but this actually does have the image stabilization, which I would trade for that extra stop of light any day. Like I said, check out some of the other videos on this channel. I'll put one up here that I really like. Go check that one out, and you'll see this lens in action. All right, so let's answer the question I set up at the very beginning of this video. Why did I pick the Canon EOS R to be my main camera and newest addition in 2021, especially when there are so many other options, both DSLR and mirrorless from Canon? The only reason we were looking to upgrade a couple months ago was the fact that the Canon 6D Mark II only has one card slot. And that actually led us down the path of a number of different cameras. We looked at the 5D Mark III, we looked at the 5D IV, we looked at the R6 very briefly, and the EOS R. In terms of the cost to benefit ratio for those cameras versus the EOS R, we think the EOS R is a better deal and suits us better in our business right now. I really do like this camera, even just shooting with it for the past couple of months. So let's dive into a couple reasons why we're sticking with it. First of all, it's mirrorless and it's small and compact, and my wife really loves that. As half of our photo video business, what she thinks about our camera rig definitely matters, and I want to set her up with something that she'll enjoy shooting with. Using this camera and the 5Ds back to back, I'm really liking the ergonomics and smaller form factor of the R. On to arguably one of the most important reasons why I went with the EOS R over the other cameras, the video features. I do video professionally as a day job and have done video for more than 10 years. And any camera that I pick up, I do hope that there are some more advanced video features. So when I looked at the EOS R and all those features, it stood out to me as a camera that would be a really great value and still allow me to really up my video game. Another one of my favorite things about the EOS R is the eye tracking autofocus, both in photo and video modes. This is the coolest thing about this camera coming from a DSLR, is the ability to shoot a video with the eye tracking autofocus and just have it in perfect focus almost all the time. So I'm still getting used to changing the different focus modes, but this has definitely been a game changer, both for personal projects and for talking head interviews and things of that nature. And finally, the last reason we went with the EOS R was price. It's actually about $1,000 cheaper right now than the R6 and significantly cheaper than the R5. And as a business just starting out, it was super important for us to be able to upgrade into another professional body without such a heavy price tag. Now, there is one significant drawback about this camera for me, and that is the lack of a second card slot. But if you look at it in video mode, which is a primary function of this camera for us, the R6 and the 5D Mark IV only record video to one slot at a time anyway. For us, that is not a huge deal, but it is one of the things that is a bit of a challenge for the EOS R in photo mode. Our plan is to buy really good SD cards and replace them often, and be sure that we are shooting with two cameras in critical situations and backing up data religiously. And if we wind up getting a once-in-a-lifetime shoot, we will probably rent something that has dual card slots for one or both of us. So that's one negative we were willing to overlook in terms of the overall picture for picking up this camera. So I could go on forever about the other items that make up my kit for photo and video, and I think it's really important to carefully consider all the items that you build into your kit and leave room if you're budgeting for a new kit for things like a really good case, an SD card wallet, a reflector, a light, some other things. I could do a whole other video on just specifically video accessories, but keeping this strictly related to camera gear, the only other items I'm going to mention in this video are my Pelican case. It's the Pelican 1510. It is carry-on sized, it's got wheels, it's the perfect size for me. It's my favorite case that I've ever used, and it goes everywhere with me on every gig. The cool thing is it can be wiped down, which is great for 2020 life when you need to wipe something off after being on a shoot. Just a great all-around case, and it's something I would totally recommend putting in your kit. Hello?
Hi.
Hi. Are you done with your nap? Come here, come to Dad.
No.
Whoa!
Dada.
Dada! Can you show the camera what you have? What do you have?
TV.
Yeah, can you hold it up this way? Hold it like this. Look. Yay! That's called a color checker. All right, that's it for this video. What's in my camera bag 2021. I could go on about this for hours and hours, so in the interest of keeping this video short and within the attention span of fellow YouTube watchers, I'm gonna go ahead and stop it here. If this video was helpful, give it a like. If you have anything to add, comment below, and hit me up with any questions. See you on the next one.